I encourage Julianna to really understand the business and to understand how contracts work, especially for her sake, because I don't think she gets paid probably what she should get paid. And I encourage her to reach out. She can ask me for help if she needs it on how to get your worth.
All right, folks, we are now joined by the greatest American judo player of all time, by a PFL champion, by a Florida woman. She goes with many hats. And of course, she'll be on the PFL on ESPN2 on live on Friday, May 6th. It is Kayla Harrison. Hi, Kayla. How are you?
I'm good, Luke. How are you?
I'm all right. Now, Kayla, you didn't grow up in Florida, obviously. Where did you grow up?
I don't know. Well, I was born in Ohio, and then when I was 16, I moved to Boston to train for the Olympics. And then after that, I moved here. So
yes. How is Florida treating you? Do you like Florida? I'm
digging it. You know, it's a little bit of the Wild West, but I like it. I enjoy it.
I gotta tell you, there's many parts of Florida which I actually do enjoy, but the people who drive there, they're maniacs. They don't take safety seriously at all, right?
I mean, I moved to Boston when I was 16 and I learned how to drive there. And if you've ever been in a mass hole, I feel like if you can drive in Boston, you can drive anywhere. So I was prepared when I moved here.
All right. Fair enough. Let's talk about MMA for just a second. Here's a very simple question to basically start this interview. How stupid is the MMA industry? How stupid is it? Because I feel like you are constantly getting fed the dumber end of it. And I'm like, oh God, poor Kayla. Jesus, what are we doing here?
It's really funny because I didn't want to do MMA kind of for that reason. And then you guys just validate my reasons for continuously for not wanting to do MMA. No, it is what it is. Whatever.
Do you ever feel like, I mean, judo was tougher and there was not nearly the same kind of financial reward, but I don't know, there had to be a certain level of, it was consistency. You sort of knew what you were up against. You sort of knew, what the game plan was and the larger perspective of things. Here, everything seems so uncertain at all times.
Yeah, it seems uncertain, but it's also there's just more eyes on MMA than there ever were in judo, I could do whatever I could win or lose or cry or not cry. It was just it's a different world. And I think being part of the Olympic system, being a very pure martial art rooted strictly in respect, it was definitely an eye opener when I came to the MMA world. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
What is the biggest, I'm going to use the word in a different way here, but what is the biggest occupational tax? What is the thing that you most commonly have to deal with that is the most annoying?
I would say this.
Media?
No offense.
She's talking to you specifically. Yes. Okay. That's fair.
No, I think that especially over the last year or so, I have realized in a very big way that I don't want to be famous. I just want to be the best. And this part of the job description, this entertainment side of it, this, portion of my contract where I am an ambassador for the promotion, this part of it, I don't get a lot of joy out of, and I don't really, and it's no offense to you guys. I know it's your job and it's my job to promote a fight. It's your job. Everyone has to play their part, but I really just want to fight. I want to be the best, and that's it.
Okay. So then what is perhaps one of the more unexpected, maybe they're rare, but one of the more unexpected joys of prize fighting relative to judo, that is, of course?
I think the joy of it is just the process. I really, truly love the process of trying to become the best possible version of myself inside the cage and outside the cage. And I think that MMA has given me a new outlet and a new goal that judo, I did it. I did it all. I did everything I wanted to do in judo and I became the greatest. And that kind of that was done for me, that there was a sunset on that journey. So in MMA, every time I step in the cage, every time I go to the gym, every time I am trying to perfect all of these new things, there is a joy in it. You know, the process of becoming Kayla, the MMA fighter, I love it. I love every aspect of it.
All right. But then what's so bad about fame?
I mean, it's not even like I'm really famous yet, you know, like I wouldn't say I'm famous at all, but maybe in our little bubble, I'm notorious, you know, people either love me or hate me, but everyone kind of has an opinion on me. And that portion of it is not like, I don't do this for validation from other people. I don't do it because I care what the people on Twitter say or think. I don't know. It's just like it's just a part of the process that I could do without. Like, I don't want people to like, your opinion is irrelevant. Like, why do you feel the need to tell me?
No, it's quite fair. But I guess I would say I guess you could get all, okay. But you do recognize that in order to be the best, there does come with a certain level of attention in order to, like, part of it is you can't just be the best in silence. There actually has to be a little bit of
This is like this is the catch-22 that I'm facing. Like, in order for me to be the best, I need to have a consensus that everyone around me thinks I'm the best as well.
Right.
But do I? I don't really. I think that I'll get it. Like, I'm pretty confident in my ability to leave no doubt. But I don't really, I guess what I'm trying to say is that part of it is not what's going to make me satisfied. Like, everyone knowing I'm the best is not what's driving me any longer. Maybe it did in the beginning, but I've done a lot of growth, I think, just with age and as a person. And that's not what drives me. Like, what drives me is the internal desire to reach my full potential.
All right. So let's talk about that full potential here a little bit. 6 months ago, did you think you'd be in this position? Like, if you had like gun to your head scenario? No. So now that you are here, how are you processing all of that unexpected change? I mean, I realize it's not new. We've known about this for some time now, but relative to 6 months ago.
Well, I think just so much happened in that 6 months. Like, it was very much a roller coaster ride. You know, it was very like, it was up, it was down, it was here, it was there. I was going to this place and then I was going to this place. And then this was a last minute thing. And so I really had no idea where I was going to go, what I was going to do. It got pretty, I got pretty sick of it by the end of it. And I think that being where I'm at and doing what I'm doing, and all I'm going to say to that is, you know, good things take time and great things take even longer. So
also, I've noticed, or perhaps I'm about to find out, I don't know how contracts work, but I think most people don't know how contracts work. Yeah. The way it would work is that you have a period, either exclusive or non-exclusive, to negotiate elsewhere. You can do just several stages. And if another entity outside gives you an offer, but the contract states that PFL has the right to match, and in fact, they do match, folks are like, why didn't she sign elsewhere? Because she can't. If PFL matches, you don't, I mean, you could retire, you don't have to fight, but you can't sign anywhere else, correct?
Right. That is accurate. That is.
Have you noticed that a lot of people don't seem to realize that?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of MMA fans just don't understand the way that contracts work. And there's a lot of things that it's exactly how you said, you know, and to be quite frank, I did test free agency, restricted free agency. I did, I sort of bet on myself and I got a great offer. I got a great offer from Bellator, you know, and I was supposed to fight Cyborg last week in Hawaii. Like, it wasn't like we're going to give her a tune-up fight and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. No, it was like, hey, we're going to give you a shit ton of money, but you're going to fight Cyborg on April 22nd in Hawaii. And I said, yes, I accepted that offer, and PFL had the right to match it, and they did. And I'm not sad about it. You know, I'm very happy to be with the PFL. They are also pushing really hard to make a fight with Cyborg happen in the future. And I mean, everything happens for a reason, and I'm good with it. You know, I'm pleased with how everything played out. I will admit there were a lot of emotions, it was up. And I mean, you go from thinking you're going to fight a legend in the sport to you're not going to, like, there's a lot that goes into it, but I'm focused and I'm ready. And this is a long game for me.
What did you make of her performance?
I haven't watched it yet. To be honest, it was late and
it was so fucking late.
It's so late. Why are all the cards so late lately? Like it's
so that one was in Hawaii, so there was no way to do it. Like, I mean, it was like noonish or whatever was their time, so, or middle of the day anyway. I did a post-fight show. I didn't get done till like 3 a.m. So yes, I
saw that. I was like, you were like, if anyone's still awake, because it came up on my feed the next day, you know, like how they show you, and I was like, yeah, nobody was awake, buddy.
No, I'm an idiot. You know this already. No, this is not news to you. Nevertheless, though, then walk me through this. Like, help me understand what from what you understand. What would be, obviously one's on the Showtime network, one's on ESPN, so that's a big hurdle, and you don't work for the same organization, so that's a big hurdle. But has PFL said to you, at least from their point of view, what would be the major obstacles that they would have to clear? Because they are targeting one for 2023. What actually has to get done from your understanding to make that happen?
You know, to be honest, I have kind of pushed all of that. Like, I have 4 fights in 5.5 months, and everyone's tough until you beat them. This is a long, grueling season. It's hard on the body. It's hard on the brain. It's hard on the mind. So I haven't really thought a ton about it. I know everyone is still very focused on this, but I have to, you know, take all the steps in order to get to that mega fight. I think from the outside, and again, I haven't talked to them about it. I think really it just comes down to Cyborg and Bellator, or if she chooses free agency, it comes down to Cyborg. You know, I know that PFL is ready. I'm ready. It's the other side that I don't know, you know, I don't talk with Bellator every day or anything. So, and I obviously don't talk to Cyborg. So I don't know how willing she actually is for it. But I'm confident. I'm confident that it's going to get done. You know,
sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean, if she's game like she says she is, I mean, I got the contract from Bellator to fight on April 22nd. So if she's game like she says she is, me too.
Who blocked who on Twitter? I cannot remember. Did you block her or did she block you?
No, she blocked me. She blocked me.
Were you being a Twitter troll? What happened?
No, I mean, maybe like I was more trolling Cejudo than her. Like I said, he won gold medal, have an ass, you know, like I was like making fun of Henry Cejudo, not her.
Oh, I see. But she just was not having it. Or
I
whatever.
said he can't help you or he won't save you or something like that.
Oh, that's right. I did see that. Yes. And then she said, no mas.
And then she said wrestling is better than judo. And I said, luckily I can do both. I don't know.
Okay. Playing the game here. Look at you turning the tables. That's pretty unusual.
Yeah. I mean, I do have the best double leg in the game. So
yeah, well, it's pretty great. I have to admit. Okay. But in terms of, I asked this folks now, give me your age exactly. How old are you?
31.
31. Do you have a 5-year plan? Like when you think about the next stage of your career, because this will be the first fight on the new PFL contract, and that may not be the last contract you ever sign, of course, but still, from this point on, what's the plan for the next big chunk of your athletic life?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I have a plan. I would say, I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to be doing MMA for 5 more years, you know? I think this is a get in, get off, get out type of scenario. And I've got a plan, though. I've got a plan.
What would you do after fighting?
I mean, the money I'm making, whatever I want.
That's a pretty good answer. Like, what's the Kayla Harrison, you know, dream or whatever beyond athletically? I mean, post fighting. Yeah, no, I'm gonna. You know, my foundation is kind of like my third child. So I'm going to spend a lot of time working on that. I think, I don't know if coaching is something in my future. I'm not entirely sure. I am the captain of American Top Team. So I already kind of play that role a little bit, but I mean, who knows? I think that there'll be a lot of opportunities for me. And I am starting to think about them a little bit now, just because I know from experience that the drop off after retirement is very scary. So I do want to kind of have my ducks in a row better than I did after the Olympics, so that I don't fall into a deep depression again. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there for me. I think being an analyst, I think being a coach, working on my foundation, you know, being a mom.
maybe somebody will marry me someday. Who knows?
Who knows? That could happen as well. Yes. All right. So, I have to ask you about this because I'm a media worm, and if I don't ask you, I'm just not doing my job, which is Julianna Pena had some interesting comments recently
I saw something, but I didn't read it yet.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I mean, a lot of it is, look, here's the other part about doing media. It's like, I don't do a lot of interviews anymore because this one I like. I talked to Alex Volkanovski. I talked to Rose Namajunas. Like, I try to talk to people who I know will have like a human conversation with me.
That's good.
Which, I didn't always do. But in this particular case, she did say one thing that I thought was at least worth of a follow-up here. A couple things. One, she surmised, now I don't know what the truth is, here, hence the question. She surmised that you being made the captain of ATT helped to drive a wedge between Amanda Nunes and ATT. To what extent is that true?
I mean, it's just not true. Like, first of all, I'm self-proclaimed captain. Like, I just say it over and over again until the media believes it. And now everyone calls me captain, and it just kind of like, this wasn't like we knight thee. Like, that's not true. But I'm like, no, that's not true. It's not true.
What do you think drove a wedge? Was it just the loss?
I'm not Amanda. I'm not going to speak on Amanda's choices, and I'm not going to speculate. It's not my job to speculate on her life. She has to make the decisions that are best for her. And I wish her nothing but the best. But I'm not going to be sucked into your games.
All right. Fair enough. That being said, she did say this quote, how easy is it to say I'll beat Julianna with one arm tied behind my back and then sign a 7-year contract to the PFL right after the next day? Again, going back to like how contracts work. Yeah. It's easy to talk shit when nothing's going to happen from it. So that's my whole angle. Kayla's just running her mouth because she knows nothing's ever going to happen. She just signed her life away to PFL. Hold on, I'm almost done. So best of luck with that. I hope it's good. Make your career choice off beating tomato cans. That's great. Your reaction?
I mean, see, this is the stuff I hate. Like,
I know. And I almost didn't do it. And I usually avoid it, but I cannot avoid it this time. I apologize.
I just like, it's all right. I encourage Julianna to really understand the business and to understand how contracts work, especially for her sake, because I don't think she gets paid probably what she should get paid. And I encourage her to reach out. She can ask me for help if she needs it on how to get your worth, and not sign 7-year contracts and not sign your life away to a promotion and to be the one in the driver's seat for your career. I think that I have nothing but respect for her. She's the champ at 135 for a reason. She works hard, obviously. She's doing a good job of promoting herself and talking a lot of shit and saying all these things. And I would also encourage her to be careful, because sometimes there are bigger fish in the sea, and there's levels to this. Again, I take nothing away from her, but I'm a different breed. And I say what I mean. I don't take shit talking lightly. I respect you, but I would have no problem stepping in the cage with you. Or like if you think that I've signed my life away and you don't want to wait to see and find out, like, we can just train together. I'm not opposed to that. You want to train? Let's train.
Is there still, I know this, so your fight coming up on May 6th is going to be at 155. 145 still on the table-ish kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that probably next year it'll be 145. The problem with making 145 for the tournament is that it's, first of all, they already had all of the females signed at 155. So they would have to completely, they're going to find, 12 girls or whatever to fight at one, because not all of these girls can make 145. And I also, it's just not healthy to make it 4 times in 5.5 months. Like, I can make it, I can do it. I don't enjoy it, but I can. But that would be asking, I think, a little too much from my body.
Curiously, what would be I don't know if you measure it this way, but do you know what your daily calorie intake, what the deficit would be when you're trying to make 145?
I don't. I do know that my life was super miserable when I made 145 per Invicta. Like, I remember vividly my children having their Saturday morning donuts and my daughter, like, Mom, I can't cut the donut. And I was like, you better just put that thing in your mouth. Like, I walk around at like 165. So I don't cut too much weight for 155. I kind of just clean it up a couple weeks out and then I'm good to go. But 145, I had to be a lot more strict, a lot more disciplined. And I'm so disciplined with everything else in my life. Like that part sucked. I was like, God, but I'll do it. I'll do it if it means I get to be the best.
Fair enough. All right, let's talk about your fight very quickly. May 6th, this will be the first fight on your new contract here. It'll be on ESPN2 or ESPN Plus, depending on how you have it. Friday, May 6th, 9 p.m. in the East. You are in the main event taking on Marina. I'm going to try and pronounce her name correctly. Mokhnatkina. Tell me what you know about her.
Yeah, she's she's a little bit unorthodox. We watched some film on her. She's a 6 or 7 time world sambo champion. She throws a lot of spinning back stuff, and she did seen a lot of leg locks and knee bar attempts from her. So it was good for me I feel like, again, all these new opponents just make me a better fighter, stepping up my game, learning a lot about leg locks and defense. And I've also never really seen a ton of spinning back shit. So becoming aware of that and prepared for all that stuff was good for me. I'm looking forward to the fight. I think my coach, my judo coach, Big Jim, said when we were watching the film, and he was like, oh, sambo. And I was like, yeah, she's a 7-time sambo world champion. Sambo is for people who couldn't make it in judo.
Oh, wow. That big words from Jimmy Pedro.
I said, that's a good line. That's a damn good line.
How much does how much does Jimmy factor into your coaching? For folks who may not know, Jimmy Pedro's but one of the more historic names in all of USA Judo. Has one of the most famous academies. You train there, Ronda Rousey trained there, Travis Stevens trained there, a bunch of people train there. How much does he figure into your life as a coach these days? I mean,
they're like my family. So his father, Big Jim, who is my coach as well, and his coach and Ronda's coach and everyone's coach, he still comes down for a couple weeks every camp. He'll be in my corner. He's been in my corner for most of my fights. But him and his father are just integral part of my, advisory group. Like I feel like one of the big problems in MMA and in general, I think in successful people's lives is they start to have yes men around them. And that is kind of like, I feel like they are why I am able to be so successful, because they're not yes men. They don't beat around the bush and they don't bullshit with me. They tell it like it is. If I'm not training hard enough, if I'm training too hard, if I'm being stupid, if I'm, making mistakes, like they have no problem putting me in my place and keeping it real with me. So they're a huge part of my squad, if you will. And they're the backbone of it, to be honest.
All right, just a couple more questions. I appreciate your time. I am curious to know, somebody like you who was highly, highly, highly decorated in judo, not in MMA, to what extent in either judo or MMA, and if there's a difference, please let me know, to what extent does your tape study, not a coach studying tape for you, to what extent does tape study factor into your prep?
I mean, in judo, it kind of became irrelevant, just because you end up competing against the same girls over and over and over again. And you kind of, you get to the point where what's going to happen. That being said, I did have, a book written up of every, the top 20 girls in the world. And this, she's a righty and this is her go-to throw. And this is and this is her weakness. Like I had that for them. And I do that as well for MMA, but it more is just like, I think in defense terms, like this is what they're good at, so this is what I have to watch out for, but my game plan stays the same. And it was the same in judo as well. Like everyone knows what I'm going to do, but good luck trying to stop it, like there's no secret. Like I'm not this girl, she does spinning back fists, so I'm not going to try and take her, like she does leg locks, so I'm not going to try and take her down. Like what? No, I'm the best grappler in the world. Like my game doesn't change.
Fair enough. You ever looked up the history of sambo, like how it was developed?
I haven't. You're gonna school?
No, well, it's funny enough. I read a book on. I didn't know hardly anything about the history of judo, so I read a book called "Falling Hard," and it basically takes place. You know the guy?
Yeah, Sharp.
Something I have it in my shelf here somewhere. But the point being was, I didn't realize how good, like, you have to remember, man, this was years and years ago. I was totally ignorant. I didn't realize how good the French were at judo. Like they're obviously quite good. But what he had said was the Russian sambo system was a function of a guy who actually was good at judo, but was adapting it for Russian military needs, which is a sad story because it actually was very successful. But then Stalin had the guy who invented it killed because he found him to be a threat. Yeah, he found him to be a threat, so he killed him. But that's where it comes from. They took pieces of it from a guy who was a judoka and then adapted it for Russian military needs.
Yeah, that's pretty badass, but that's a terrible.
It's a sad story. Yes, on that note, we can end things. That guy was murdered. Yay. Okay. Kayla, well, we will see you live on television May 6th, 9 p.m. in the East. It'll be on ESPN2 or ESPN Plus if you are a subscriber. Main event. Beginning of your new PFL campaign. I do congratulate you on your new contract because you are killing it. I appreciate your time and cannot wait to see what the season has in store for us, for you, and for the rest of the PFL roster. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.